Here's a smart, electric standing desk made in Europe using high-quality Linak columns with two powerful motors and letting you configure it the way you want. Is it really that good? Let's inspect! Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, great to meet you, Michael here, the Tech Mishka, and today I'll finally get to show you some more of my current studio setup. Well, it's still work in progress, but the area around the desk and the desk itself are almost ready, and this behind me, which is currently moving up, is called Uberdesk Pro by the company Buldesk, finally cool piece of tech which is made in the country where I reside, Bulgaria. So I'm gonna tell you everything interesting about this piece of tech in this episode. Actually, my goal when picking my next standing electric desk was to get something with high quality motors and as big as possible worktop, which is at the same time simple, so that I can keep it clutter-free and enjoy it for as much as possible. Turns out that this body behind me delivers a lot more, having a lot of accessory options and configuration options. So in this episode, I'll show you everything important about it. The setup, we'll talk about the technical specifications, I'm going to demonstrate how the remote controls are working, and basically everything you need to know before picking your next electric desk. For what it's worth, this desk setup, keeping in mind it has two motors, is very affordable, plus delivery times are quite reasonable. In my case, being based in the same country where Buldesk team is located, it took around a day, and for most parts of Europe it may arrive within a week. The promise for 10 years warranty is what won me mostly over, together with the remarkable specs and basically endless customizations. Coming from a do-it-yourself solution, I knew very well what to expect and pay attention to, so let me show you what kind of build I'm up to. During the unboxing section, I usually would tell you that this is how the desk arrives, but for international shipments, the package contains a lot more foam and other ways of protection, so that none of the components get hurt during the delivery process. The top side is, of course, something you can choose, and I've decided to go for my favorite birch-like texture, but you can have a look into the oak, the walnut, or simply a plain color-styled worktops. The desk arrives mostly pre-assembled, however you need to mount the lifting columns by yourself. The DL6 modules by Linak are used in my case. These are reinforced columns, each one supporting 1200 Nm load, which is crazy a lot. According to some online calculators, they can lift around 240 kilograms of weight, and I'll leave it up to your imagination about some of the possible use cases. The great news is that the guys from Buldesk are offloading you by doing most of the installation themselves, but since these columns are hardened, their installation requires some extra force and patience. Best way is to apply it on the plastic area, which took me a while to figure out, and the Buldesk's own setup video has been immensely helpful. I'm gonna link it as a reference in the video description area. After you get these legs attached, and by the way there is an option to detach them in case you need to reassemble, everything else is quite easy. The base of the legs gets mounted within seconds, and a tool for that is provided in the assembly. On one side you can use these standard legs, or you can opt for wheels, rubber casters with double locking mechanism, which provide great stability of the desk. The wheels seem to be suitable for any kind of floorings. They, for sure, are not as stable as without them, but I totally needed this maneuverability, and funny enough, I discovered my new desk on wheels is a lot more stable than my old desk with a solid stand. If you wonder whether typing on a keyboard is gonna make a large mounted monitor shake, the answer is definitely not. Speaking of the monitor, these $150 you're gonna pay on top for this arm are perhaps the best deal ever. I feel that Buldesk failed to explain you how good this stand actually is. Installation is rather easy, I just added some extra protection so that I keep my top in mint condition, call it obsession if you want. It can go in any direction that you need, quite large monitors are supported, and you can fine-tune the resistance of the mechanisms, tightening for heavier monitors or loosening so that they can comfortably get adjusted if they're lighter. I didn't expect it, but due to the nature of my work, I use this option a lot more often even than the desk motors themselves. There also is a PC case option, which surprisingly works even with weird form factors. Even my mini ITX setup was a perfect match. Furthermore, it's sort of a quick release bracket. I was prepared for a lot more challenging installation. And thumbs up for this cool looking fractal design case and the setup, something I've built with the awesome support by Hardware Canucks, more precisely Dmitry, and make sure to hop onto their channel because it is the right place should PC hardware be part of what you care about. Since I've already shown you the unboxing and assembling for most of the remarkable components, let's quickly overview the most interesting specs. The desk can have customizable Edgar-made worktop with up to 180 by 80 cm size. It is equipped with Linak DL6 columns, has up to 160 kg load capacity, height adjustment is between 64 and 129 cm. The motor noise is quite low, below 50 decibels. There's an optional anti-collision sensor. Weight of the desk is approximately 33 kilograms. There are over 50,000 configuration possibilities given the many accessories available. Putting all of these specifications aside, I think there are two major reasons to like this one in particular. The first one, it's equipped with possibly the best on the market motor system provided by Linak. And while Linak are pretty famous and they supply the units for many other brands, here you have a lot of customizations possible, which leads me to the second major advantage. That would be the fact that buldesk are actually shipping the whole thing to you almost pre-assembled. You get the worktop with most of the cabling and the pre-installation done right, so everything you have to do to click the columns, put the legs and the wheels respectively in case you have ordered wheels as well, and work on the cable management, mount all the accessories that you need, and basically you are ready to use it, which leaves very little room for mistakes, and that's extremely important to have a problem-free operation with a new piece of tech. And I think I already belong to this kind of people who would say that once you try an electric standing desk, you would always want to work on such one. And I can remember the two major reasons which have driven me to pick an electric standing desk, and that was a few years ago. I wanted to be able to work when my newborn is sleeping in the sling. And the second is that I seem to think more effectively while I'm standing. Quite obviously, standing is what can happen naturally. You might also want to check this anti-fatigue mat for standing, especially if you're about to do this for longer periods of time. The controls allow you to memorize various favorite positions, which the desk can reach within seconds. Important is that there are no objects obstructing the reach of the columns, so I'd strongly suggest going for a decent cable management solution. Unsurprisingly, Uberdesk offers such, and the solutions are great. Well, I have decided to adjust one of these so that the PC case frame fits a little better. Having less cable clutter is a key to avoid accidents with your own equipment. On the other hand, seeing zero hanging cables gives me the confidence to call this Asian-level cable management. Jokes aside, I have 3 HDMI cables, 3 USB extenders, the 4 power cords, one for the monitor, one for the laptop, and another one for the computer plus a spare one. And finally, I managed to connect a few USB chargers without having to keep them standing on my desk. Yeah, of course I can follow the integrated in the software reminder to be standing every 45 minutes, but also having the wheels, I can move the desk in the studio without shutting the equipment down, which lets me take some quite awesome shots of various products, and I'm sure this is going to enable me to show you a lot more in the future. Just use the wheels lock option and the desk is gonna become extra stable. These wheels come with a dual lock mechanism so that not only won't spin, but also the Y-axis is standing still. Another good example would be if different people are using the desk on a regular basis. My son, for instance, prefers to keep it as low as possible. And once I get back to work, instead of spending valuable time in adjustments, it is just 2 taps away. And for multiple users, the Linak smartphone app called Desk Control has convenient presets, which you can define for the owner, but also for guests. There seems to be an option for key lock, understand child lock feature, but it seems to be something that has to be configured before ordering the desk, which is kind of a bummer. Best you can do is to disconnect the power to the motors, but it's not really convenient. This is one of the very few drawbacks that I've discovered. Perhaps the lack of integrated LED option is gonna make this desk less attractive for gamers, but if you are an RGB addict, you know what to do in order to make it shine. Bottom line, if you wonder whether this particular standing desk should make it to your shortlist in case you're in the search for a new standing electric desk, it totally should, because it not only matches my expectations, it kind of over-delivers in terms of quality and in terms of overall performance. So I'm extremely happy with the Uberdesk Pro, and this is why I'm going to put a link to it in the video description area. And in case you have a question or you want me to try something else, then you can join in the conversation in the video comments area. And thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope it was useful. If that's the case, give me a sign, subscribe to the channel for more cool tech inspections, and I'm Michael. Gotta see you in the next one. Bye.